They need to go. Or should go take a piss then. So it's
that or city sound. But I had a city sounds one the other day, which had got like blooming honking horns in it. I was like, that's of no fucking use for going to sleep.
I love traffic.
Got my share of city sounds ready to go here. Any time of the fucking day you want.
Righty-ho. We are, it says we're live, so I'm going to go get that script.
Oh, it's got a strip?
God.
Okay.
The amount of places I've lived, including here, that have drunks going by, there's got to be a sounds to sleep of drunks passing by.
Right. This is all in the stream, by the way. They didn't hear the first part of this conversation.
That's fine.
So
You're not going to get the context.
I'm going to say the following. Let's all reset and say, you are listening to Let's Go JoJo, the weekly JoJo's Bizarre Adventure podcast about weekly anime from Dynamite in the Brain and Secret of the Sailor Madness. So come along and hang with the Let's Go gang. It's Dwayne.
Hello.
It's Niall.
I'm back, baby.
And it's me, Brian. And on this episode, we are covering anime that aired the week of the 5th of November to the November the 12th. That's not how you say it normally. And we're going to talk about one thing which wasn't in those weeks, and that is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Part 6. Episode 22, Time for Heaven, New Moon, New Priest.
Same old attitude.
Yes. Tony Blair considers rewrite. So, yes, FF did not die last week. She's got one more trick up her sleeve.
She's going to die this week.
Yes, that's her trick. No, she's going to get on the intercom, get in touch with Weather Report, and send him coded messages by clanking rocks together so that he can rejuvenate her body via the power of rain. And this drives Poochie crazy. Before we get to that, we have another flashback of Poochie and Dio hanging out on in their beds together.
Just like curling up, talking about boys they like or artists they admired who understood the key to heaven. You know, boy stuff.
Yeah, just curling each other's hair and saying, "Poochie, what are your dreams?" But Dio brings up a fact that Araki wouldn't be very aware of how many people go into the Louvre on a given fucking vacation period, that kind of thing. And he's basically talking about he's obsessed with immortality. He's already a vampire, but it's like, but your power, it's like those artists, they had the power to make a stand that would.
Oh. Is that my internet going entirely or just Dwayne's?
Just Dwayne's.
Okay.
Your stand could make people live forever.
You completely froze up there, Dwayne.
That's between you and God, unfortunately.
Yes, but I think you've caught up with me now because you answered that.
Yeah, but basically saying like, no, yeah, the Mona Lisa is totally a stand because that's like someone's manifestation of their mental energy. So why not, let's say, a CD projected from a person's head? That could be a soul. What if you just rip that CD over and over again? You just live forever in a computer. Or in a weird green baby. Here, I'm going to give you my foot bone. You'll know what to do when the time is right.
Yeah. Which turns out the thing you know what to do is to eat your fucking arm off. Well,
it's a very hungry baby. It's a growing boy.
Yes. The rain is pouring down and Poochie's losing his shit because this plan isn't working, and then he calms himself down by counting prime numbers. And he's like, I haven't lost yet.
Meanwhile, in the Everglades.
Yes, the baby's hungry and starts eating Anasui's hair. And then some dirt.
I'm reconsidering this relationship, but no, I didn't think there'd be kids involved, and I wanted to hook up with you. I'm not ready for that kind of thing just yet.
He's not going to break it off. He's like, I need to convince the love of my life to kill this baby.
Yeah, it's
very important to kill this baby. Yeah.
Cramp my style.
And Anasui's like, hang on a second, there's two people approaching. Let's get down and hide. But those two people are Foo Fighters and Weather Report. Foo Fighters heals up Jolene's eye, so you don't have to look at it gooping out of her skull for the rest of the series.
Yeah, because I was like wondering there. I knew she got her eye fixed before the end of the comic, but like if I saw Foo Fighters die just then, but they didn't die. It was actually another wrinkle in this just yet. So Got to take care of all that. And even then, like, by the 8th episode, it seems that, like, besides just kind of stitching up just like open wounds, like now stone freak and just like reattached limbs and it's all kind of connect, I guess, all the muscles and bones and things down to the like microscopic level with strings, I suppose, as well.
Yeah, she's gotten better at the microsurgery, I think, is the dealio. But you can't fix a melting eyeball with stitches, as far as I know.
Different kind of doctor, yeah.
And then they're discussing what to do with the green baby, and is like, let's kill this abomination, and Foo Fighters is, hang on a second, I'm an abomination.
Based off your description, that could be me. And also, you keep calling me Plankton very insultingly right now, even though my name is FF or Foo Fighters, whichever.
That's offensive, man. Come on.
And he's like, hey, weather report, what do you think? And he's like, well, I think I'm going to kill you, and thrusts his arm straight through Anasui's chest, because it is actually Poochie in disguise.
Look, everybody, it's Poochie. He's got something to say.
Dear.
I'm going to take the baby. But then he gets greedy and decides he's going to kill Jolene first.
Well, I do need to. You gotta, like, he's right. You do need to double tap. You can't just go now to celebrate my victory. No, wait. Need to make sure she's dead, because I did see that she was the only person who slightly dodged my attack. And Jolene's like, that's right, I did slightly dodge your attack. Also, we're doing this prison rules, and makes a chain out of her string to do like the your manacle together kind of fight, which is fucking rad. So
it's like, stay calm, prime numbers. Oh God, she's crazy. Yes. Oh boy.
But he's like, but yeah, I've already finished off your dad, and he didn't live very long. And I was like, hang on, mate, have you not looked at the Joe? I know there's the first Joe Star didn't live very long that Dio dealt with, but there was one Joe Star who lived an awfully long time. Do not assume that Joe Stars die quickly.
Well, that was the curse that Joseph broke, I think. Was the deal, because he lived to be very fucking old.
Yes, yeah, because his dad died in the war, didn't he? Yeah, so.
No, he didn't die in the war. He was killed by a vampire.
Oh.
No, it's the First World War. Not the Second World War.
Was it his pilot, the pilot dad?
The pilot, he discovered there were vampires in the RAF, because he's like a natural heroic Joestar type who can sniff out this kind of trouble. And but he wasn't a stand user or a ripple user or anything like that, so he got killed.
But he also adds that, Joestars don't tend to live very long. That's why Jotaro isn't going to live very long, and he takes Jotaro's disc and...
Well, that's after he's had his face absolutely butchered by...
Oh, yeah, he got the shit kicked out of him. But he has the good plan of, if I throw your dad's disc into this guy who's bleeding out over there, you're going to have to prioritize saving him over punching the shit out of me. Or punch the shit out of me. He's gambling. Yes. It's just like... I'm going to try and guess your priorities.
She does initially punch the shit out of him some more, and then goes...
A little.
And tries to get the disc. But, oh my goodness, Anasui dying. He's absorbed the disc's going to go with him, but Anasui manages to do one last stand maneuver to send his blood towards FF so that she could use it for moisture and then take over his body. He's going to sacrifice himself for Jolene. But in the end, FF sacrifices herself for Anasui and Jolene.
Yeah, and it's a nice kind of thing, because you're made it understood. This is like a colony of like millions of plankton that bonded together to form this kind of standing. So like, like, are they like an individual like little things? Are they all one kind of thing? But it's supposed from hanging out with Jolene and Hermes and Asri and fighting all these stands and making friends and eating lunch and throwing the baseball in the yard. It's like, yeah, there is like a personality there called FF, and because you can tell because they've got a soul and it's going to heaven, because they get the full send off, for saying it's all right, Joni, because had some good times, and I literally found myself, my soul is ascending to stand heaven. That's that's kind of a nice little thing, like.
Of FF saying, like, is like, I was worried that I wouldn't get to say goodbye and everything, and Jolene's like, but we could just totally bring you back to life. And it's like, yeah, but that wouldn't be me. That wouldn't be the sum of my life experiences. And I lived, and I'm satisfied with how I'm going out because I lived a good life because you were my friend. And I was just like, oh, it's all very nicely done. Like last week, it was kind of like, oh man, what a downer. Whereas this week, it's kind of like she earned her earned her or their personhood, I guess. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I think also a big part of it is Anasui, I think, like willing to sacrifice himself for FF.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
another step of like, oh, this guy
Is
who's
that
been...
the only noble thing he's actually done? I feel like it might be, where he was like, "Yeah, you can totally take over my corpse and ride it around as you've been
Yeah.
doing up to this point."
That's a bit, like, because they're like, there's a little bit of Foo Fighters inside of all of them, keeping their organs where they should be. So they'll carry her forward with themselves into what dangers to come.
Meanwhile, Poochie is reciting a shibboleth in order to activate the green baby, which is feels like some sort of
For up a monkey dishwasher.
yes, it's like a William Burroughs cut up that he's reciting to this baby. And
Because I was thinking for a second, did he take too many hits to the head or something? Is that what's happening right now? Yeah.
Spiral Staircase, Rhinoceros Beetle, Desolation Row, Fig Tart, Rhinoceros Beetle. Yeah. It gets the baby's attention, and then he's like, "Would you like this bone? Would you like this bone, baby?"
Come here.
Yeah, and then...
oh, God. The terrible twos already.
But yes, he's happy to have his arm ripped off and dragged into a bush because he's entering Dio's world, apparently. I'm sure that can't be good. I'm sure
he will come out much like him in Dragon Quest with a wondrous like mullet after this.
Okay.
I'm not lying. Like, he's going to like fun. I guess their essence is going to fuse again. He's going to come out and say, "You've been resurrected, and your hair is fabulous." Yeah, it's all part of the thing.
And that's where we leave it. With Weather Report still trying to find out where the other guys are over the radio.
Then I get that folks get messed up like an awful lot in here, but like in Jolene or anything, in case they can't get back up and going. But Weather Report, he got messed up pretty bad with having screws blasted into him. He's been like laid up in the fucking medical wing for all this time now. But then I suppose it's probably only be like a day and a half, realistically.
Yeah, it hasn't been that long to recover from all the fucked up injuries he had. And I did appreciate himself and Foo Fighters figuring out the plan. Is like, okay, we'll have like a little CB radio where we can talk to each other kind of at a distance, and we can organize shit. And you can make it rain if I'm in trouble, so that's great. But then you have the Jolene hugging the fake Weather Report, and Anasui going like, "What the fuck? Who's that guy she's hugging? I should be getting all the hugs." So he does a huge amount of selfishness before his nearly final act of sacrifice.
There's a nice attention paid as well, I think, too. Like, because you get as like having fucking extended out as it is, you get a sense of the time is passing. Because we started off and it was daytime in the prison ring, and then when they escaped, it was sunset. And now we're in the dead of night as they're making their way out of the swamp. And then all the bad stuff happens, but it's okay because the dawn is just around the corner.
And they got Jotaro's memory disc back, albeit a little bit damaged.
Scratched. He's not going to remember how to drive.
Was I left-handed or right-handed?
I feel like he probably doesn't know how to drive. Because I feel like that's the thing the J Stars are not.
Never put them behind the wheel of anything. Yeah.
Probably for the best. Can't tie shoes. It's the small annoying things, not like if like your daughter's birthday or something like that. It's gonna be like little things, like what way do you like your eggs? It's like, I gotta do all this over again until I figure it out.
And it's not like his life isn't confusing enough. His it's his uncle. No, it's his uncle is way younger than him, isn't it? Like at least by 10 years.
Yeah.
His life is very confusing anyway, and that's not counting all the stand shit, obviously.
Yeah. It's odd stuff, but the interesting thing was like how frustrated Poochie was by just rain and fog. So
it's getting wet. Fucking like all the priestly tabards and stuff they get.
But it wasn't even him getting wet. He was dry. It was his stand getting wet was the problem.
Well, you feel everything, because the stand, is like, it's like, what's the point?
Then we've got Pui Pui Molcar Driving School, Episode 5, Love Letter from the Bum, in which there is a guy who wants to give one of the instructors at the driving school a love letter. He drops it, and then a post Molcar eats it, And then today's lesson for the Molcars who are being retrained, they're being trained in possible, here's some work Molcars. This is work Molcars do in the community.
Let's see how capable of other
Yes.
Molcars' jobs you would be of. Like
Yes.
ambulance driver, no good. No.
You can be a postman. You can be a police car. You can be a treasure hunter and a DJ.
I did take a screenshot of all the jobs because they were all in English on the screen. It was, working Molcar. What have we got here? We've got taxi Molcar, postal Molcar, police Molcar, ambulance Molcar, DJ Molcar, greengrocer Molcar.
Greengrocer.
Oh, yeah, the greengrocer. That was and the
and
DJ one was pretty good because they're just jamming. Yeah.
And the last one is treasure hunter Molcar. But yeah, the last one they actually do is the postal Molcar, where apparently you put the post in the Molcar, they digest the post, they shit out the post, and then the post returns to its original shape.
It's easy to eat a letter. It's easy to shit a letter, but it's not easy to shit a letter in a way that it reforms itself. And the Molcars demonstrate this by the posts one they have to demonstrate, eating their shit and then shitting it out, and it turns into a letter after being a little turd.
Yes.
And then it's like, oh yeah, let me just eat that letter again and try it. And I was like, this is fucking disgusting. But if you think about it for any length of time.
It is, and it's the comedy of repetition, because the amount of time this love letter gets eaten and shit out, it's ridiculous.
Because I think I thought from the title of this is just like the dude who sent a letter was just some kind of a bum, was like, okay, he's just got like unrequited like passion, but okay, I don't need to call him a bum. I didn't think it was going to take it quite so literally.
Yep. So, but then eventually, the lady realizes the letter's for her, and what you know, she's got a love letter for him as well. And then Teddy shits out a bomb, and everybody.
The show's still good.
I think this was my favorite one of the series so far.
Yeah. This is the level of humor I think it handles very fucking well. Again, that should be gross as heck, but because it's like weird little felt cars who are alive doing the eating and shitting constantly, there's no problem.
To be an adventure Molcar, you have to swing on a vine, which is like as a car-shaped guinea pig or a guinea pig-shaped car, you're not equipped to do.
That'd be hard for a regular guinea pig, not to mention one with tires for legs. Yeah.
Then it is Welcome to Demon School Iruma-kun, episode 5 of season 3, Cunning Demons, in which our focus is now on Jazz and Schneider.
What were they up to? Why are they dressed like that? It's because they were taken out in the town.
Well, there was like a viral pandemic from 2020, and so they're being very like it's all part of a grift, because what they learned in their thing, because we got like Jazz, obvious like grifter, con artist type of dude, and you got Schneider, who was just like very like eloquent and smart. That's kind of been his whole thing, besides being a weird lion man. But because he's smart, it means he's also good at doing cons and fooling people. So like
yes, because they're in section 3, and we see that they managed to con the demon biology student out of all the points.
Because again, they go over the rules. Yeah. You can earn the points by gathering the materials. You can earn the points by what was the second way of earning points?
Well, stealing them.
Yes.
Yeah, stealing them is the third way. It's just like that's fine as long as you don't like you can attack someone, but like not like beat the shit out of them. That's not acceptable.
Everything's on the table except like direct violence. So,
yeah.
If you get caught out, like then that's your own fault. You shouldn't have fallen for the cheating.
And we see in section 1, first part of the episode, is those two lads have challenged them to a duel of like who can get the most dangerous boss monster first. If the guys from the Misfit class win, then they're going to get all their points that they've already accumulated. And they're like, oh, so you want our points if you win it? No, we want you to give our teacher back.
We want him back on the battlefield.
Which I assume is Furfer, based on what we know of. He's the only one who's had the battlefield mentioned in his background, even though it doesn't get mentioned in this episode.
It's his rank.
Yes. And then in section 2, the little owl boy and Soroli, that's the
Kamuy and Soroli.
Yes.
They've tamed every vicious beast in the forest, so just by gathering these together, that didn't mean to get all the points for them, even though you didn't like get them on things. So it's just like, no, well, why do you gotta go out and hunt things? You can just like summon them to their side straight away.
Yes.
And she's like going, oh yes, now I see how this is going to be great in my idol career. If I can just like bend them to my will and make them love me, then.
And also the best part is they're not. She's not doing it in her idol persona. This is her regular. This is her. She's the one with all the power, so she's really reveling in it.
Yes, because she's learned by subduing her cuteness, she can use her beauty to its full power. And the way Kamuy reacts, it was like, oh yeah, there's probably a very thin line between him and the beasts that they're hunting. It's like, where does the line go of being a demonic beast and actually being a demon?
I would presume speech, but a bunch of these animals seem to be able to talk. I mean,
well,
like
yes,
at least the
he
Kamuy,
can talk.
so,
yes, because of his power, he can talk to the animals.
But I mean, that means they can talk. So
yes,
where is the fucking line? Yeah.
Yes, it's just, we can't understand you, so we're going to eat you. Is probably the demon's attitude. And then we get the section 3 where yes, they con them out of all their points, and then we learn why they've become so good at conning people, and also why they are dressed as barmen. Because their training was to be taken to a nightclub, and then
indulge in all the adult vices. Yes. And it's like, wow, that was really sound of you, sir, to like let us to just show us a night in the town and pay our tab and everything. It's like, no, I'm selling you into slavery because I
don't pay your tab,
and I'll make a nice profit on the top of it. I will come in every day and play a guessing game with you as your slaves to this bar. And if you can guess right, it's you'll be free. And it's just which hand is the coin in, basically.
Yes. The coin in left or right, and it's just fun saying, nope, wrong again. I'll see you tomorrow. Anyways, glug, glug, glug.
Yeah. And they're getting more and more resentful, understandably, but by proxy are picking up on a bunch of schemes that adults tend to do. Also, having to work in the service industry, which is hell. I do agree with that.
It was like this. From what we've been reading in our Shonen Jumps, like, of recent weeks, was Akane Banashi, where she has to kind of learn stuff on a job as an artist and also just a regular job working in a pub, like, and just picking up on things. Oh yeah, from this, like, it's how you kind of like interact with people and be able to read them. So that's what they get the whole thing of and saying, it's. Do I have any tells? So like, let's wear a face mask and let's say you got a cold, and then people can't read what's going on with your face, and it helps you to fool them. Also, it stops you getting seasonal flus and other bugs. And
also, if you both do it and you're wearing the uniform already, it'll look cool.
Yeah, it's like you're in a gang and they're cool. So they're fun saying, all right, lads, what hell is it in? And they just like, fucking like, just fun throw their own coin and then fucking, or they knock it out of his hand and then fun, or when we toss the coin and snatch it out of the air and he's just fun saying, it's in my right hand, motherfucker. It's just like, very good, very good. It was in left hand, actually. I had, because there's fucking 2 coins in the goal, motherfucker. Yeah,
because Kamuy comes up with the plan of, we're playing by his rules and we don't know how the fuck he's winning every time. He's clearly cheating, but we don't know how he's cheating. So what if we change the rules? The thing is, guess which hand the coin is in, not guess which one of my hands the coin is in. So it's like, it's in my fucking hand because I took it off you. Which is like, so they've decided to not try and figure out his ability. He's like, yeah, you probably should have figured out my ability as well, though, because that's how it's in my left hand. So I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Which is pretty great, yeah.
It's a gambling manga light, which I am always very appreciative of. And this like whole thing is like, because it's as well, like these are all like, more or less a bunch of good kids, a bunch of good lads here, But it doesn't matter the fact that you're also demons in the underworld. You're meant to be like the embodiments of vice and sin. So it doesn't ever like it isn't trying to kind of downplay. These are all kind of good, but they also like have the worst impulses. And rather than it's school being about like straightening those out, it's about how do you direct those impulses towards some kind of good for demon society.
It is fun the way like it is the standard shonen thing of we're going to get in fights and contests and it's going to be about the power of friendship and teamwork, but also like fucking the other guy over because we're the good guys. So if we fuck the other guy over, then that's good. It's It's objective good.
Yeah, because our
Yeah,
example
that's fun.
here is like it's Iruma. He is the nicest young man you're ever going to meet. However, for him to actually like progress and grow as a person, he has to accept and deal with. I just feel really pissed off at people sometimes, and I want to do something about it.
Yeah, like in the last week when he had to, like, you can't just aim for your goals with like noble aspirations. What do you want that's a greedy, selfish thing that you want, and use that as the fuel to drive you? And it's just like, yeah, you're using your selfishness as a thing to drive you forward towards betterment, but you do have to accept that you are a human or a demon, and you have selfish desires and shitty fucking opinions, and you get pissed sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, because like you're gonna feel like negative emotions and impulses in your life. You're only fucking like a living fucking human, like one like sentient one being. So how do you make that work for you? How do you make the best of that situation? But you fucking try and like con on your teacher, or you punch somebody out. You're really just fucking asking for it, you know.
But yeah, we see from Machiko though is that the problem is the Demon Society goes too far in the opposite direction, and then nothing gets achieved because they're too selfish and too lazy.
It needs a balance of it. You do need the power of friendship and teamwork sometimes.
Yes, and also hard work. That's the things the demons are lacking. Except bizarrely, the weirdos who Iruma runs into. Yeah, and they're like, oh, because they're doing the commentary, aren't they? The botany teacher and I can't remember what the other guy teaches. Darley.
Robin, is it?
No,
it's not Robin. It's Darley.
It's some other dude.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I mixed the two of them up. They're kind of similar kind of characters.
Nondescript. Yeah.
I did like your man trying to look over the shoulders, like I want to see what my students are doing. I can't.
But yeah, Bala is too shy to ask them to let him have a look at the TV. And meanwhile, we see the principal and Opera hiding behind a wall, poking their heads out. They're wondering what Iruma is doing, but when they go and check on Section 4, there's like a load of students. They seem to be tracking. Are they tracking a beast? And then we see that no, they're tracking Iruma, who is sat in a clearing picking flowers.
I'm sure you've all like probably like I've said it already from last week about really getting like allusions and flashbacks here to like the Naruto Junior Ninja exam in the forest, because even like the way those trees, especially in those where they kind of bend up like that, it's all like just the way the trees are in that fucking bit of Naruto.
No, I've that my knowledge of that bit of knowledge of Naruto has been erased from my brain. It has been pushed aside
pretty early on, yeah.
for other bits of information. I think the title is something about pure demons next week, so I assume it's going to be all about Clara and Iruma, the most innocent of the demons, one so innocent even a demon himself. Which I guess we will also they'll have Lead and I can never remember her name, the lady demon in the misfit class.
Who
was taking the succubus classes.
Is it better?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, because they point out at the start of like where everybody is and how far they've got to go to get their ranks. Because I was like, oh yeah, that's the thing. Aruba's like higher than a whole load of them. Some of these people in the class are worse than Iruma. They've got more of a job to do than Iruma has. Which was nice to be reminded.
It's a fun way of going like to basically go like, and obviously like with one guy who doesn't need to rank up at all. He's fine where he is.
Yes.
So it's like it's not everyone needs to power up for the next bit. It's just like no, everyone needs to level off so we're all at the same fucking playing field, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is why they're going to split all the points. But then we got Spy Family, talking of more exams. Episode 18, Uncle the Private Tutor and Daybreak, in which the midterm exams are coming up.
Yeah,
and it's definitely like some quarter exams.
Yeah,
or
and like the mock test, Anya's done very poorly on, and so they're gonna.
Every fail is a bolt against her, so you could potentially be fucking 4 bolts laid on you if you don't pass these tests.
So it's very likely that she could be kicked the fuck out at the end of these tests.
And peace between the East and West, this Cold War will just go on forever.
So the uncle ends up acting as a tutor, much to his annoyance, but then Anya charms him by reading his mind and knowing the right things to say.
That was one of the few times her mind reading is actually come in useful. It's like, wait, he loves his sister. I love my mother. Who is this angel appeared before me? Amazing.
Yes, but he ends up teaching her the wrong things which aren't in this exam after all. But does encourage her to do studying herself, which then will pay off in the second half of the episode. Also, he poisons himself by eating all of Yor's terrible cookies. Well, there's some crumbs.
He does storm off. It's like, I'm not teaching this stupid kid anymore. Shit. It's like, but I baked a batch of cookies. He storms back, eats all the cookies, and storms off again while puking.
It's a very nice little thing. Yeah, Bong was after the crumbs. Bond should be eating those. The dog shouldn't eat chocolate to begin with, so no matter who made it. And then, like, Lloyd comes in, honey, I'm home, and the dog is just flopped out there. But they don't make any remark on it. It's just flopped out. It's like, oh, he's sleeping. Sleeping, right? Oh,
sleeping the sleep of death.
The Odin sleep. Ooh.
So then they do the exams, and then the second half is Daybreak, where.
The other thing is Anya can't read minds because it's a new moon, and she can't read minds during a new moon. That hasn't come up before.
There's always that little thing if on stage because you accept it so readily because it's part of the comedy premise. Oh yeah, she was fucking experimenting on a lab. And everybody like bring it up again, and then occasionally you get little bits like that. I've long since forgotten about from reading it. Yeah.
I mean, she gets completely distracted because she remembers this and is like, "Oh, I mean, I've got to really study." Then tries to reads Bond's mind to try because she's hoping that Bond is somehow
Bond, show me the test results.
Going to see the future with the test results in it, but sees that she's going to have hamburg steak for dinner and just forgets that that's an issue at all.
I should have used my wish on that.
Favorite dinner. Oh wait, I'm a child. I forgot what the fuck I was focusing on. Yeah.
Well, it's clear obviously that the future needs to involve Bond somehow before he can see it.
Yes. Yeah. And he's not taking.
He needs to see it himself, I think, and also a dog is going to pay attention as to what's for dinner. That's very important to a dog.
Yes, there might be leftovers. Yes. Lloyd goes to the academy and he's like, well, I'm going to have to fix her results. So disguises himself as a professor, but then sees another spy who is terrible at being a spy called Daybreak.
He's just combat rolling his way all towards at the Hall of Records. It's just like fun. Parkour.
You know, like in the stealth game in your Metal Gears or your Hitman, where you're just taking the piss, you're just throwing suitcases at every motherfucker's head. I don't fucking care. You're not doing the stealth run. You're just having a laugh. That's this motherfucker. That's his career.
You walk around the crowd, even in safe public spaces like a weirdo. Like, that's him. He's kind of humming his own theme song under his breath. You know, it's this kind of dude. Because I call myself Daybreak because that's the opposite of Twilight. It's not really.
Yeah, he considers himself the counter spy to Twilight, and he manages to get past two guards in a very ridiculous way by making himself a flag, as far as I can tell.
Yes, a flag.
And he's been hired by somebody to alter some test results, and Lloyd thinks, oh, he's been hired by the Desmond family to alter the Desmond's test results, but
to make them look good.
He's been hired by somebody else, it turns out, to alter the Desmond's test results, and that will also not help the plan.
But he has to, because this guy is such a bad fuck up of a spy, he has to basically help this guy who's like when he can't get past the security gate, the security guard's like, yeah, you need a pass, otherwise I can't let you through. He's like, oh, come on, buddy. It's like, excuse me, sir, is this your pass you dropped down the corridor? He's like, no, it's not my. Oh, yes, it is. He has to walk this guy through it. He has to pretend to be knocked out by this guy's judo chop. Just like, come on, get fucking done already. I need to alter the test results myself.
Yeah, it was actually reminded me of some games of Hitman I've had, actually, where you just blunder your way through it. It just somehow works.
You'll do the stealth run after this. This is just figuring the space out. Yeah.
So yes, he gets, well, Daybreak goes to knock Lloyd unconscious, and And then Lloyd has to break from pretending to be unconscious because the guy is still cocking things up.
Because he's not only altering the Desmond's test results, obviously to be bad, he's trying to ruin the Desmond family name, get the sons expelled, but he's going to sign them.
Yes.
Daybreak, so everyone knows that I did this. Like, but that would defeat the purpose of you altering the test results. You dumb.
Yes, because he leaps up and says, "You call yourself a spy?" Again, and then he quickly goes back to his cover ID. He's like, I didn't see anything. I'm not going to tell you anything. He just go, "What do you mean you didn't see anything? You got to tell everybody about this."
Keep it on the DL, but tell everyone that you saw Daybreak. And then he rolls out, obviously.
And then, yes, he sees that, oh no, he was altering the Desmond's results to make them fail, so he puts those back, and then looks at Anya's, and then he doesn't have to do any work, because she's passed, it turns out.
Well, he
just about.
It's the idea, like, and it was really nice, and it's like, you fucking idiot. You love your daughter, you love your wife, you love your family. Because you didn't alter her test results so she'd start winning the stars, you went... She worked really hard to barely not fail. I'm going to leave those alone. Yeah, okay. She earned that, yeah. I'm going to give out to her still, obviously.
Yes.
For the sake of world peace, it cannot stand.
She was 213,228.
If you add all her scores together, it's more than 100. So that's pretty good.
And she's very smug because she didn't get any of the, whatever the...
Converse bolt, is it?
Yes, that's it. And she can read Lloyd's mind about how pleased he is, and then then she gets told off for having a smug face.
What are you so smug about? You did terribly. These are all barely passes.
Which is a funny bit of like reacting to things inside people's heads that they're never going to say out loud.
Yeah. I hope this isn't the last we've seen of Daybreak.
I think it is, according to the wiki, for the time being.
I think it is.
I hope he hasn't shown up again in the comic, but he is a very fucking funny character. So yeah.
Well, they gotta bring in Agent Nightfall, who is the real deal next.
As we do see at the end of this episode, he does get immediately fired from his job as a spy. So I mean, like, not unsurprisingly.
Well, this is an independent contractor who's just got up for himself. I got the ideas of like it's going to ruin his rep around town for sure.
He'll be known as the spy to not hire. Yeah.
Probably for the best.
And then we've got Pop Team Epic Series 2, Episode 6, Pop Memories to You. And our first sketch is Space Deco Company directing, or producing rather. It is Pop Team Epic Night Show with our special guest, the Earth.
How's it going, Earth?
But if Earth's here,
wait a minute,
what are we standing on? That's right, Popico. It's always been a sham.
The first half of that was funny because it's the joke. It's a funny joke, and the second half of that was funny because of her screaming it as the guys. That's right, Popico. Just like whoa.
Yeah.
Fucking...
I quite like the guys. I can't remember who was on it this week, but I like them because they just
the guys from My Hero Academia.
Yeah.
One guy is Kirishima, and the other guy
Kaminari.
Kaminari. Yeah, they're very fucking funny.
They're just playing it as men. They're not trying to put on terrible fake women's voices.
They're barely trying. They're very much so not on script. It's very funny.
Well, it works like for the it works for like the next sketching.
Yes.
It's like taking off like a romance game.
Yeah, Tokimeki Memorial, I think specifically.
Tokimeki Memorial, yeah, and like so they do kind of both like here's like the female of interest and here's the male of interest on the B part of it. Then
I did enjoy that one as well because the first version were initially is it Popopo is the childhood friend or.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many characters. There's so many.
But then she shows up again as the Kohai, the younger student, and I was like, wait a minute, was she that in the earlier scene? I was like, wait, am I fucking messing up? And then they kept showing up as every other character in the game, and I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. All right, fair enough.
It's a pretty, and then. In fact, the punchline is cutting to the person playing it, who I assume are comedians who I don't know. Because it's
comedians good at pulling faces.
Yes, different people in each one. The men's one is worse because it turns out they didn't actually finish the game. It's not just a terrible game; it was unfinished.
Dear.
Then it is Kamikaze Duga with Popico is going to be auto tracking all day. And then PPB joins in, and then they glitch and they merge into one being. The Akbu one is Cooking San is making fried rice.
Very lightly fried.
Yes. And then he's about to settle down to eating his fried rice when PPB opens the door, grabs his fried rice, and takes it because this apparently is Popoco's Uber Eats order. I guess they just run around stealing food. It's almost like the straightest an Akbu sketch has been for a while, I think.
Yeah. And even this guy, I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Some sort of cup-faced, Desperate Dan-looking motherfucker. But I was like, I like the look of it, but I was just like, who's this guy? Is it? And then they show up to ruin his day. I was like, oh, that makes sense. Okay.
And then the next one is Junichi Yamamoto. Is this Kappa-suchi a real thing? Because I noticed there's copyright messages whenever the Kappa characters appear on the screen.
Well, there's Kappa lots of things, so I'd say yeah, probably there's probably a Kappa-suchi.
Yes.
I mean, they've had the sponsored stuff in the Chocobo stuff,
yes.
the Square Enix stuff, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's definitely a thing they're doing this season.
Then Popoco's at the cinema, and the is that the hipster character design he uses of the girls that Popoco gets annoyed at, is constantly getting text messages at the cinema, and it tries I love the animation of Popoco's eye when it's being glared at by
too bright.
the screen.
Because the first time's fine. It's like, oh fuck, I left my phone on. I got a message. Let me just turn my phone off, and then you're done. 3 fucking times. 3 fucking times.
Yes.
Black. Everything black.
Yes, luckily Popoco had bought a can of black paint and sprays everything with black paint, including the screen where they appear to be watching Goonies.
It's gone stuck at a scene for a long time.
Yes. And then, PPB has got a giant lump of brown sugar. What are we going to do with it?
Savor it.
Yeah. And then we get an ending, which I really like the gag of this. It appears to be incredibly straight until Popoco brings out her recorder, and then the animation style completely changes, and we get a very bad recorder version of the ending theme.
Is there anything funny than like a bad recorder or like tin whistle playing? That's just, where the notes are slightly off.
Yes,
it's like, it's very satisfying.
It has to be just the right degree of bad, like the old Les Dawson.
You have to recognize the tune they're playing, but they have to hit like it must be like every third note wrong or something.
It's just kind of pathetic, but it's still struggling on with some kind of misplaced bravery. Just want to say, God damn it, you can't do it, but you're going to keep trying, aren't you?
But in this case, it's also the enthusiasm of which the suddenly animated Popoco is playing the recorder adds to the humour.
If you've seen that the kind of weirdo film on Gaku or Sound, it's like delinquents, they form like a band. So fun. You got a dude on bass, you got a dude on drums. They got the scariest dude. He's bald. He's got like a mustache, beard, and he's in fucking high school. He's gonna jam out on a recorder. So they're like going. He's just going. He's the toughest dude in the entire school doing that.
I wish Pyutufuku Jaguar had got a better anime. Talking of recorder based,
they got an anime.
It did. It was Frogman produced.
There you go.
Got a live action movie as well. But it'd also be nice if somebody picked the comic up and translated it and released it so I could buy it. But I don't think that's happening anytime in the future. Maybe when Roboco takes off and Viz decide let's go all gag manga all the time, then I'll be in Hog 7.
Getting there. We're almost at parity, I think, of style of comic at the moment.
So that's probably Pair Park. I can't talk. Also,
they did name it that way to make it difficult for people to pronounce.
That's true. Yeah, I mean the voice actors sometimes have trouble pronouncing the title, so I shouldn't really complain.
When they're trying to sell the DVD, which is the worst time to mispronounce the title.
Yes. Then we got Golden Kamuy, season 4, episode 6, Sweet Lies.
Love that song.
So we got a bunch of stuff here. We got Tanigaki saying farewell to
Boner.
Boner.
Yes.
That's again, like, that is such a sweet relationship, and it serves the two purposes. Like, it feels like a real good narrative arc for Boner as a character, and it's just like, yeah, you can be happy here, and I have to be happy to let you go, and that kind of thing. But because of the stuff they talk about later, it's just like, and then Boner lived happily ever after. Unless there was like a big war involving where the Ainu live or something like that. I don't know, just off the top of my head, then he probably wouldn't live happily ever after, would he?
Right. He's gotta be his own man now. I'm gonna give you fucking like the gun of the man who saved my life, and hopefully will save your life someday. Until then, until you're able to stand up and be a tall man, so you hold on to it. Tall like a boner. That's right, tall like a boner. Tall like a boner.
Yep.
It's like when Tanagaki's doing this whole like fucking like responsibilities of a man, like in Fast Forward. He said I'd be the kind of big brother kind of like figure to this little guy now. He's got to race back now across the ice to his fucking his lover who's giving birth to his child. It's like, oh god,
to
he's
his
just
family.
like like in a matter of weeks he's going through all of this.
Yeah, it's a very compressed, dramatic timeline, but it is a really nice kind of summation of the character of Boner and his relationship with Tanigaki, but also like a reminder of things we need to protect. We like Boner, we like what's probably his girlfriend at this stage. I think we can call her his girlfriend, and it's just like, yeah, he's gonna have a beautiful life if everything doesn't go to shit, which very soon might happen.
Talking of things going to shit, they figure out that this is not actually your boy's skin, and so
yes,
it's not Tony Angie. No.
Yes, we're going to beat the shit out of you, but we're not going to kill you because we're going to let you go and take these other fake skins back to Ijikata.
Wait, why would I do that? Well, if I mean, like, let's say you didn't do that, and I had to kill your mother and your father and your brother and your sister, and let me just name all the family members
and
of
your
yours
dog and your cat and your herd of reindeer.
And he knows them all by name, and it's like, then they might get hurt. I don't fucking know. Off you fucking trot.
Well, after all, the same car together. I mean, that's a possibility,
So like, and the idea that Tony Angie isn't dead and is like, oh, this is a plan for getting him out, but then the reverse plan of it was just like, okay, either A, he's a fucking dope who's been tricked into taking the skins, or B, he's a spy sent to us to try and trick us, which is fantastic because he sent us all the fake skins, taking them off the board, so that's no longer a problem for us.
Right.
This
And we
is
can
a-
probably
this is the ideal
fucking
situation.
can probably mess around with him and try and get more out of him by sending him backwards and forwards like this. So
Yeah.
But don't tell him anything important. Train him wrong on purpose.
Yeah, as a joke.
Yeah, so he's really got the shitty end of the deal from both ends of the stick.
Oh, absolutely. I pity the poor bastard at the end of this. Because initially you see him breaking out and it's like, wow, he got out with the skins and Tony Angie's okay. And he got the shit kicked out of him because it was funny and it would help sell the story more. And now he's going to be played by both sides so they can play off each other. He's just a pawn for both of them to use.
It's just like most any other Ainu person involved in this has sussed that like he doesn't give a good goddamn about the Ainu people. So like it's bad news to fucking pass it on to him. But Ariko, he's just fucking kind of caught in the middle of it. He's very earnest, God bless him. He doesn't have the head for this kind of fun little subterfuge. He can't handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Kirito's like, hey, Tsukishima, I should need to have a word with you about this entire thing about me being kidnapped.
Doesn't add up.
And also, Agata's dad dying, the situation that happened there. And yes.
And he said that word, and I've been mulling over that, and it's been like, that's... I bet you were one of those motherfuckers as well. And he's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And it's like, even if that was the case, what the fuck could you do about it? And he lays out his thing of just like, I don't fucking care what Tsurumi's up to.
It's like, I know Tsurumi's pulled one over me. I know that soldier he brought in to convince me to join a line with him and be in the 7th Division. That can't have been... It was like probably from my area, but probably not the person I thought it was. It doesn't add up.
Because it was just too convenient.
But
like
yes.
But I want to see which way this is fucking going, and I want to be on the winning side, basically.
Yes, and you can't say anything because he'll just tell somebody to kill you, and it will probably be me. And then Kirito
it'll make it look like an accident, and your dad will be real sad about it. And it's just like, Yeah. So
the
what are
most
you going to do about it?
ridiculous show of loyalty by spinning around on the ground, making a circle, going.
Yeah, Three Stooges
Yes.
thing basically is what he's doing.
I was like, oh my god, that's so devious. I did not know he was that desperate to have me in his fucking retinue. That is, it's amazing. Honestly,
That makes me love
I
him
think
even
fair play.
more.
I think fair play. I'll be fucking like a Dan
Yeah.
Fiddle. He played me. I'm grand. I'm grand with this.
I
It's
will
really
say,
funny about your
yeah.
man. What's your man's name with the very little nose? I always forget his name.
Tsukishima?
Tsukishima.
Tsukishima is basically watching his pretend demonstration of abject loyalty by doing a little Three Stooges spin on the ground, and just like, yeah, that's what you pretend to fucking do. I'm not gonna tell him you know all this shit, but I'm not gonna fucking like, I'm not gonna sell you out, but I'm not gonna sell him out either. I'm just in it to see how it fucking goes.
Yeah.
I don't care anymore.
I do like how so much more over the top the proving of the loyalty is in the anime with the voice performance than it is in the comic.
Yes.
That was definitely one of these cases where it's improved. But overhearing all of this is Shirayashi, who's basically like, well, this really casts Sugimoto's terrible plan in an even worse light, so I'm going to get absolutely rat-arsed and then tell him off.
Well, I was on my way to go and get rat-arsed anyway, so that's not part of the plan. That's just me.
While I'm in there, though, I'm gonna have one for him, that son of a bitch, and go off and say, Tsugimoto, you're just trying to fucking ease your own conscience and wash your hands of this whole situation. You're fucking coward. You're fucking nothing. You're
like
fucking
he's
nothing.
pointing out is just like, you really think Tsurumi's got the best interests of the Ainu at heart, huh? And Tsukumoto's like, yeah, well, a Serpa can like strike a deal so he doesn't fuck with the Ainu. And he's like, and you think he's going to stick with that? You think he's a man of his fucking word? And the best part is, because he's wasted, or post-wasted, he's brought the cheapest prostitute he could afford back with him, and she's also commenting now.
Yeah.
He's like, saying, yeah, man, it's pretty fucked up of you. It isn't like a fucking surrogate daughter or anything. Why are you about to call this weird comments you got about her, man?
I assume that Shirayashi has been explaining all the situation to her previously.
While he was drunk, obviously.
Yeah, basically to practice this argument he's going to have with Sugimoto, I imagine.
You gotta help me come and have it out with this guy. Come on, I'll pay double. It's cool.
I was just waiting to the very end of his fucking tirade because I knew at the end it was just so glorious to see it in motion when he falls over, pukes, and then farts as well.
And then he says, like, does the episode end with him, like, Sugimoto, like, thinking, it's like, I need to have a really long think about this. He's just thinking to himself, and Shirayashi just saying out loud, I farted.
Yes.
Fucking great show, yeah.
It is, but now we've got a long wait because it's off the air because somebody died and somebody who's essential to production.
Somebody important.
Yes. So I will look forward to
read the manga.
Coming back, but yes, obviously I've read all the comic that's on.
It's
Viz
not a bad
up
place
to this
for it
point.
to stop, like narratively, because it's basically.
It is.
You've got a thing to think about, so we got space between that.
You kind of want to see Tanigaki go and rescue Incarmat. I think that's the thing that is left hanging.
For sure.
Yeah.
There's so much. There's just like there's definitely like a certain like panel I thought if it's going to leave off anywhere before it would be kind of great when Tsurumi is like coming off the board and you see the Serpa, he starts cackling like a madman. That'd be like, great place to leave it off. I think like, or wherever the volume left off, I think it was like maybe close to that even.
But yes, so that's where we are, and we will replace this with Tatami Time Machine Blues, that is up on Disney Plus now. But before we get to that next week, we've got Mob Psycho 100, Part 3, Episode 6, Divine Tree, Dimple is... So Mob going 100% this time just means they have a long conversation about friendship, and Dimple comes around to what he was really after, what they were both really after were friends, and they found their friends. Let's have
It was amazing that his 100% was trust, the emotion of trust.
Trust and sincerity.
The last thing of this episode is like, the conversation is kind of going pretty well, and then Dimple says like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you wearing that dumbass shirt? It looks fucking stupid. That's the worst shirt I've ever fucking seen. What the hell, Mob? Are you wearing it as a prank? Is this sarcastic or something? And it's like, is Mob going to get really mad and Dimple's going to have to talk him down? It's like, no, Mob's like, thanks, Dimple. You're my one friend who'll actually tell me is like, my shirt is ass. my gear just looks terrible because everyone else has been like, hey, you might want to change before you go out. It's like, hey, just leave your uniform on. You know, it's got more hit points or something. But Dimple will say, no, that shirt's ugly as shit. I can trust you, Dimple. That's why I've turned off all of my psychic power right now because I trust you 100%.
Yes, they have a conversation. They come around to decide, but Dimple comes around deciding, okay, yeah, I'm going to stop this plan. Let's both of us head home. The problem
is a fair thing of Mob pointing out is like the thing you wanted was for people to notice you and for people to care about what you say and what you do and shit like that. You don't want everyone in the world to do this. You just want a friend, bro.
Yes,
and I'm your friend.
he points out like when Dimple started this plan, he wanted Mob to come along and be part of this plan.
He could have taken over the world without Mob easily.
But right at the start of the plan was Mob was invited along to this devious plan. And then he comes around to realizing that's what he wanted all along. But the tree is going to have none of it because it needs Mob to grow more powerful.
Oh.
And so Dimple has to fight the tree and eventually sacrifice the last of his psychic energy to get Mob free of the tree. And then the tree ends up in space. And I was like, and Mob can't remember any of this, and he feels sad at the end and starts crying over Dimple. He doesn't know why, but he feels Dimple's gone. And then I was sad for a bit, and then 24 hours later, I remembered, hang on, in this story, I believe Dimple has completely disappeared by using all his psychic powers before, and has come back to life again, or death again.
He is a ghost. You can't kill a ghost. That's the point of being a ghost. Yeah.
It's the whole thing. Their essence can be dispersed across the cosmos.
Yes.
But they may be able to be eventually before, or maybe after 100 years, maybe less than that.
Yes.
You know.
Maybe after 6 more episodes.
But even then, it's still like it's all nice. It's just like one saying, I don't want to stress the boy out. I'm just going to use my brain control powers, which is the one thing I can kind of exert.
Because he's so weak right now.
He's so weak right now. I'm saying, look, you go home and go to bed. No, it's just grand. If you want to take a rest, and you sit fun. This is fun. This little green little ghost marathon saying, "Yeah, come on, film's over. Come on,
I'll
get
see
out
you
of
there.
here."
I'll see you later. Just a little green man waving, and obviously it cuts back to what we, the audience, can actually see of the Golden Dimple horribly injured by all the lasers that tree has shot at him.
Big giant face looming in the background there.
Yeah.
Because
This is a good one for spooky tree fights, I guess. Yeah.
Incredible action sequences. It's like fucking fucking Macross out there. It's one. He's launching like broccoli clones of himself, just like
and lasers.
And lasers too.
Lasers. So yeah, that's great.
I mean, it was very effective to the point where I'd forgotten that, Dimple has got kind of disappeared previously. It was nothing I was remembering at the time of watching. I was like, hang on a second. I'm pretty sure it's not going to give us this completely sad ending. Particularly halfway through the series.
You see, for the big half of this, I sad for Mob because he's often be like the most mature individual in the room most times. He's able to kind of fun deal with these things. But now, fun saying, but you get hurt sometimes as well, and it's not because anything of your own fault and what someone else did to you. It's just you just feel fucking the sad man, and sometimes you don't know why. Like
he doesn't know why, but he knows his friend isn't there, and he has an inkling that his friend was hurt probably for his benefit, and he can't help him because his friend isn't there, that kind of thing.
Yeah. We can tell between this and One Punch Man that the author is he's obviously studied very hard that whole the Superman fucking paradox, fun. How does someone with that much power have this much vulnerability, and something like that? Why couldn't you just do this? Why couldn't you just do that? It was like, it's not about fucking, how many fucking punches from Doomsday could he take? It's also like, how would he deal with a breakup? How would he fucking deal with fucking just feeling depressed and things? How would he feel just you just feel off today? And then what would you kind of do with that? And as well, with all the power you have, that might not make you feel any better. I think for the most part, Mob's got a good handle on that because he doesn't want anything kind of big. He doesn't want to do anything with his powers even. It doesn't happen to be she's I don't know, I got this kind of thing, it's a kind of a weird health thing I have to kind of attend to at times. Besides that, I just want to live an average life, get a girlfriend, and a hot bod, and be totally ripped, like all young men want to be. Psychopaths don't factor into that too much at all, really.
Even Dimple mentions that he's never had to go and use as much power or has access to as much power as Mob has had, except for earlier, and he kind of is like, you have all that power all the fucking time at your fingertips, and you choose not to use it. And he mentions it, and it's just like, that's I got a lot of respect for you, kid. That kind of way. It's one of the things that manages to bring him down, to kind of ground himself when he talks to Mob.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's clearly like three things which are probably going to have to be addressed. Is the times he does lose control of his psychic powers, him confessing his love to the girl who does not seem to be particularly aware that he exists, and I assume he's going to find out that Regan is a liar by the end of the series.
And is that necessarily a bad thing? I guess is the difficulty there.
It is, yeah.
Because he's absolutely a guy who lies for his personal profit, but also helps people by doing it. That is a major concern.
But he is an adult manipulating a child.
He absolutely is. Quite often, not just Mob.
Yeah. Has Takahiro Sakurai recorded all of his lines already before he loses any more work? The voice actor for Reagan, I guess, didn't know. He was caught out. When it's this like years-long affair behind his wife's back came to light, and outside of him being like a dog, at least as being consenting adults, I've seen worse things happen when Japanese media figures who still get employed.
Yeah.
So I don't know what'll come of that now. Let's do it.
And then I think we've all now seen One Piece film Red.
Well, I tried to.
Oh, you tried to?
Well, some of the very same things that Bakura even being were we able to go ahead as planned. I would not have been able to fucking even form the thoughts because I have not one but two building sites on either side of my flat, and I was on of night shifts for the last 2 nights, so that means I was not allowed to sleep during the day after working 12 hours overnight.
Oh man.
Yeah. So, and as well, I was like, oh, there's actually a shot here. I might be able to get home from work a little earlier on Sunday night. Which means I can get up a little earlier on Monday afternoon and get out for a chance to see one of the films and one of the showings nearby. That didn't happen because it didn't pan out that night because, one thing happened like that. And then, even then, I wouldn't be able to stay away from the fucking thing. So I think I've missed my window, but I'm fine with that.
I thought I'd missed my window and I'd got whatever fluey bug that caused us to record 2 weeks worth of episodes last week. But it did play again this past weekend, so I did get to see it. I could have done with Popoco's can of black paint.
Yeah, I guess one being in London, I had the best chance possible that it might linger onwards in some cinema out away somewhere. So we'll see. If I don't see it, I don't see it though. I'm gonna be okay with that.
Probably see it eventually. It's not a big thing.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's definitely these One Piece films have become much more of a natural an event since Zed, and it's just it's while it may not necessarily have this overriding effect on the canon One Piece story, it adds this kind of resonance to certain elements of it. So
that's the thing I want to say. Yeah, it helps if when you go and see it, you put into mind where the comic was at the point it came out in Japan, because I think there's a bunch of stuff that either is revealed almost simultaneously when it's revealed in the comic, or just before it's revealed in the comic.
Yeah.
So we now know from the comic that it's been stated in the comic clearly that if a devil fruit user dies, it doesn't negate the effect of their devil fruit, and that is also revealed in the film as well.
Yeah.
So there's a few things like that. And obviously, there's the whole. You put Shanks back in the comic around the time the film came out, in order to have you constantly thinking of Shanks.
We always.
But yeah, it's the most amount of. It felt like the most amount of hints for future manga stuff that a movie has done.
Yeah, when they're on the couple of weeks break and they had out the here's some of the bits of the story so far. Fine here, huh? Remember this? Yeah. Huh? Remember this?
This would be important. Yeah.
It's it also feels like a warm up for this is what the end of the thing will be, where we'll have people who previously were enemies will be teaming up against an even worse enemy. Also, it's a terrible tease as well. There's so much stuff where the Shanks pirates are about to do something cool, and then it cuts away from them. Gab,
It
like
cuts away from them doing something cool to someone simultaneously elsewhere doing a cool thing that's similar to that, but not that, because those are the characters we already know, and we know what cool things they can do.
He's been standing there with his arms folded and his coat knitted about his shoulders. He's going to do something cool.
There's a background like guy on the Shanks pirates, and you know the way he's got a monkey, right? That monkey's as big as a guy now, and it's like, oh, that monkey's the monkey's going in and doing shit, and then you don't get to see the monkey do anything. I'm like, I want to see that monkey fight.
Yeah, and the character Gab, like twice, he's about to shoot a beam out of his mouth, and it cuts away before he gets. Well, first of all, he gets told not to do it.
No, not now, Gab. It's too soon to shoot a laser. It's like, he has a laser. We gotta see that.
No, Cap. I'm full of giant lasers.
Which turns out, if you've read the recent chapters of the comic, lasers are probably going to be important to the plot.
Yes, very important.
Everyone gets a laser now. All right, I see how it is.
Also, there's one weird thing that I remember seeing where it like some people have said that Shanks isn't like a guy who uses a sword. And this film kind of confirms it's like, no, I'm going to pull out my sword, set it on fire, and start like swinging the fuck around my sword. And it's like, yeah, he's a sword using guy. Why would you question?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe because
very odd people. I don't know.
Mihawk didn't want to fight him.
It'd be like Quickly Down Under, where there's this amazing film with Thomas Selleck as this cowboy, and he's just like he's like best man shot in the west with a rifle. He hit it like fucking like a target, hit a penny like a kilometer away, and he finally gets in a gunfight at the end with fucking Willem Dafoe, and fun saying, yeah, watch your rifle not so big. Because you told me that you don't shoot with a revolver, you use a rifle, and it's fun. Just go. I said I don't shoot with a revolver. Didn't say I didn't know how to use one though.
But yeah, it feels like also like the thing which is most related to real world stuff, because there's definitely stuff about coronavirus, there's stuff about YouTubers, there's stuff about
being a viral influencer, and both like in terms of the influence and the hope that you give to people as an entertainer, but also the obligation you feel towards trying to help them. Because it's just a person on a screen to you. It does that through the use of the fucking snails, like it does always in One Piece. But the technology feels fine, and it's just like it allows her to talk to her friends while being on an isolated island and just going like, man, the world has so many problems. If only I could help.
It does introduce the concept that there are apparently documentary makers in the One Piece world using these snails.
Oh no, Island Music Festival goes wrong. We've heard this story before.
Yes, that might also be part of it. Yeah, what else was I going to say? Oh yeah, but it's like the music industry, like going back well into like opera times, like centuries worth of music industry commentary that it's making.
Not just modern ones. But
there's very few actual evil pirates, and one of them is a guy who wears a mask with his nose sticking out at the top of it, which definitely seems to be like a pointed character design. He's so bad he can't wear his mask properly. No, admittedly, he probably can't because he's got an incredibly pointy nose. But it did seem like a very deliberate character design, mocking people.
You might find that a little. Oh,
3 years into a pandemic, still can't wear a mask properly.
Yeah, it would be a commentary on masks and that. The other thing I was saying, now you mightn't like, but I personally did. Would anytime it's like, let's have a big fight, and it's like, no, another musical number, and I was like, yes, another musical.
Yeah,
number.
there's a lot of musical numbers, and the musical numbers are generally the best looking thing in.
Oh, they're one of the things that my local cinema happened to fucking show it, and I was like, all right, not fucking in subtitles and everything, fantastic. That'll be great, but. The cinema was shite. There was crap on the screen. I was like, but they have a good sound system. So if you have like a decent set of speakers or headphones, like, there's some real bangers in there.
In this message group I'm in, with folks who had seen it, I'm saying, this One Piece film Red is the best Macross film I've seen in years.
Okay, yeah, I see.
Yeah. No giant robots yet.
Well, they're coming. Haven't been there in some extent already. One is Frankie, with not a giant. Well, he's a giant cyborg. It's different.
Yes. He doesn't get a break Shogun out, unfortunately, in this. Yeah, there's There's a few. It's not as consistently well animated as Stampede. I still think Stampede is probably my favourite out of the non-Baron or Matsuri One Piece movies.
Yeah, well, I saw the one that's like they had like a hand animated giant robot, and then they also had one the more CG animated bigger thing that came later on afterwards. And it was like again, Toei were trying that interplay between like the CG things that they did with Dragon Ball Super Broly, and then Dragon Quest, and then with Superhero.
Yeah, I think Superhero is a better movie than Red, though. Obviously, the Japanese box office does
much
not
more character-driven one, and one that's kind of been like, "Come on, Piccolo the movie, yes, give me." It was
just like they had like the confidence, fun saying we are like a large enough entity, we can like put out like this film. This is kind of about the B team characters, if you want, if even that of the Dragon Ball universe, and you can make it have resonance, make it have stakes. We're gonna put like Vegeta and Goku in there, so you get like Class 5 in that front. It's gonna be about again the fucking ordinary granddad of Dragon Ball universe who answers his phone like that, even though he used to be the Demon King.
Yeah, it's definitely a better film, and it's not the best One Piece film, but I did thoroughly enjoy my time with it. I thought it had enough decent fucking character moments and everything to justify watching and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got some gags that will stick with me as well.
Oh yeah.
And like they feel like gags within the One Piece world, because it has like a Luffy drawing gag, which is a thing we've not had for quite a while.
I suppose we haven't got Carrot around anymore to do those, so we had to.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Carrot's really good at drawing.
Well, in one style, but yes.
In one style, which is more than. Well, yeah, I guess there's they're photos, aren't they? On the it was the only drawing we had was the drawing of Sanji, which was also bad. So generally, it's people are bad at drawing in this universe.
Yeah,
bad at talking about their pasts and bad at drawing. Yeah, so apparently it looks like it's still in London till the 24th. Niall.
Let's see what happens.
Yes, so you got a chance. Then let's pick Niall's brains. What do you think of the end of Cyberpunk?
It was a story about crime. It was always going to end fairly tragically.
It was
particularly when you kind of factor in this is part of like a larger video game universe. So these characters, are not going to have any kind of big effect. This whole thing where they get involved with the corporate plot, but it's going to end with them. They'll get away from it, or they're going to die in the process of it. So kind of it's going away. But like Faraday was a dude in the game, but they did kill him off, didn't they?
No, Faraday's not in the game.
No,
he was not in the game.
No,
all right.
I'm forgetting his name. The guy with the mustache.
Yeah, the DLC has added the driver and 3 new missions into the game.
Okay,
so I think they act as like a sequel to the anime.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's kind of like it's the kind of gangster film storyline where like now you've achieved these sites, you're always gonna be kind of watching your back because like the more you kind of seek to kind of insulate yourself in this world, you expose yourself to more the dangers of it. So it's really there's only kind of one way to do it, and because of the things you've done to get this to achieve this insulation or whatever you want to call it now, that's the way you're going to go out in it. And as the thing of Lucy Fun was in this trying to keep him away from it, and he was trying to do the same for her, and Fun saying we kept neither of each other out of it. So as long as you can get one or both of us out of here some way somehow, as long as someone gets away from it, because they fucking take out fucking even Becca, like she's like being like the fun rascally mascot of this thing for so long, and then it's fun saying no, she gets kind of fairly ingloriously just kind of smushed mid-sentence even. And
I thought the way she was taken out was very like a nice combination of comedic and tragic at the same time, because it's very much so. It's like fuck you, we're having a moment before she gets.
Yeah, it's very Imayoshi because when I first saw Gurren Lagann, the thing it reminded me of is that Tex Avery cartoon Bad Luck Blackie, which ends with the cat walking constantly in front of the because the end is the bulldog paints the bad luck black cat white, so it won't cause bad luck to it anymore when it walks in front of him. And so the kitten, who the cat's been protecting, paints himself black and then starts walking in front of the dog. And then a succession of larger and larger items fall on top of him. And the way it escalates, that's what I was reminded of when I saw Gurren Lagann, because Gurren Lagann is a thing which just escalates.
Bigger and bigger.
But yes, the large objects falling on somebody is also in that, and that is how Rebecca goes out in Edgerunners, is Adam Smasher, who cannot die because he's in the video game, lands on top of him.
So I knew as soon as he turned up this one where he's going to either win or at least fight to a draw. But probably in the process, even if he managed to win, you wouldn't kill him. As Marsha and David would probably just be fucking just explode his own brain in the process.
Well, even in that, Adam Smasher was like, "Hey kid, you're pretty good. You want to get like done up like me and be like one of the end bosses in the game or something like that?" And David's like, "Nah, I'm good here," basically.
I'm grand. I just wanted to get out of this. I just wanted to be a big man.
It's not quite that he offers him. You have to play the game to find out exactly what he offered him.
Yeah. I mean, like, nothing good, basically. He offered him a step worse than where he's already fucking at, which is pretty fucking bad.
Yeah, I saw a thing in there. There's like a drink you can get in the bar and called the David Martinez. It's like, oh man, I can't pull one out for him. It was like you used to kind of having your Imaishi and Trigger things be this kind of very boisterous thing. This ragtag bunch of misfits are gonna fucking like fight the way to it. Some of them might die along the way, but they're gonna get to the end of the thing. But no, actually, the fun they do fight and they get the way to the end. They fuck up a lot of dudes in the process, and they really like get one over on Faraday who like did them wrong as well. But it's then there's nothing kind of glorious about it now. Most of them get fun killed in the process, and that's kind of it. So it's just to have this like I kind of fucking like a blunt and abrupt ending to it now. When you kind of used to kind of things from him having this like kind of glorious triumphant moment, but it's just immediately dashed by just two turning up and destroying everybody. But that's kind of it, you know, and it fit in very well. But like the whole thing, it is like a crime story, and after seeing what happened with Maine midway through it, I think our anime protagonists are like, Lucy, just like, you know, you believe me, right? You can do it. I can do this. You know, this guy needs the power of friendship, the power of belief, and saying, that's right, David, you can do it. And you can't do it. You can't do it. So isn't that kind of thing, man? And you had your fun option then to like all your fucking like all your fucking good intentions or your fucking fun positivity got like extinguished that day. So your choice to either fucking like, you know, move away from this, less to fucking take one for, or he did what David did, and he went double down, baby. Fun. Let it ride and see what happens about it. And this is what's going to happen to us. It's going to go. There's no other way it's going to happen to it. And he thought he was like
the David face as they're driving away from that midpoint in the season when everything went to shit, and where he's like the life is just drained out of his face. Has become a meme of just like, I guess I'm dead inside kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
it suggested then about, oh, he'll be different. You know, it's going to be different for him because he's the anime protagonist, because he is like, you know, the kind of a conditioning where he can kind of take on more implants without there being jealous so much. It's like, he's uncommon. He's fairly rare to come across, but I don't think this is the first one of them they've ever come across. He's not like fucking Adam Jensen in Deus Ex where he's like 1 in 1 trillion of a chance of that being born. It's just like they probably come across a lot of dudes like David all the time. It's just like they aren't that common, and this is just like for another one other little gambit, sort of corporate gambit, just to kind of try it out and see what would happen with it. And then like, yeah,
it's not that it gives him plot armor by having this unique ability. It's like, oh, that's just going to draw you further into this thing, and the further you go into this thing, the more you're going to die. Basically,
you thought it was special. Like he took the wrong example from it.
He's surprised that Adam Smasher has a Sandevistan as well, isn't he? He's like, when Adam also uses it, he's like, you've got one as well. Yeah, it's like, yeah, of course I do. The professional.
I saw it happen to me. That won't happen to me, man. I'm different. You know, I'm not going to make the same mistakes he did. You make all the mistakes that he did. Because he probably thought he was special too. He probably thought if he had a little bit more, he could have fun. You know, he used to be this guy, skinny little jogging man. But if he thought he had a little bit more, he kind of get past that desert in his own mind, man, his own making. He could probably do it, but like, nope, he's like cyber psycho, like everybody else who goes down Futura that way. So yeah, it's it wasn't everybody's taste to collect funds. Just fun, kill off everybody. You know, in the last episode, it's like, yeah, that was the only way I was going to think. Because remember, like, outside of the fun story I was trying to tell, which was only ever going to end that way, like at best. At least fucking Lucy got away, for God's sake. Again, attached to like a larger media conglomeration thing, you know, a large multimedia fun thing. These guys aren't like in the game; they aren't important to the thing, and they're not going to do anything that's going to like rock the boat too much of what they're going to try to do in the games or any kind of extra thing and stuff going forward. So you should like really watch out for any of these guys and don't get too attached to them.
Except, of course, they now bring out a pen and paper edition of the role-playing game called Edgerunners, announcing the Edgerunners mission kit.
It's come all the way around.
It has, yes.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So there's the question of like, maybe Edgerunners is so popular that yes, maybe they will be combined more into the any future video game outings.
Again, like, you know, I think it's looking very well, and is probably the video game was kind of revised thing is probably still the second most like enjoyed thing of this franchise. At the least, I think.
Yeah, I mean the bottom will always be Cyberpunk 3.0. That will always be the bottom of the barrel of this franchise because nobody liked that. Particularly because of the scrimping on art, like just dressing up dolls and taking photos of them was part of it. Yeah, it was an attempt to like take things like Snow Crash and like more recent things within the genre at the time, and then add that into the cyberpunk world.
Altered carbon, because fucking regular carbon.
And yes, people didn't take to it, particularly because it also looked so amateurish compared to stuff which was starting to come out. Because I think Wizards of the Coast had bought TSR by that point, and then suddenly you had proper production values on role-playing games. And then Dragon Quest, Niall. What do you think of the end of Dragon Quest?
Tears. You
like Kilburn that much?
Yeah, it was fun. I just like, you know, even have like you kind of have seen some of this happen before, and you have an idea of how it's going to kind of go down, and it goes down most of sort of kind of that way.
Yeah,
and it has these kind of swerves in there where it does kind of tricks you out. Everyone's like, oh yeah, fun that. Looking. Baron comes back. This is fun. His stand ghost is there for saying, "Die, it's my sword, boy. It's fucking been summoned from Earth to fucking to the land in right up in here in space. You gotta use it, son. It's full of my fucking spirit. You gotta take him out in one shot, boy." Everyone's saying, "I'll do it, Dad." And it's fun. Yes, he's gonna do it. No, he doesn't do it. He fucking came out at a weird angle and snapped it. It's like even Baron's ghost is shocked. It's just like.
That was very funny.
I had the whole speech I gave.
It was nearly the theme tune playing. It was like, oh, the music's kicking in. This is it. And everyone's just like, wait, what? And it's like, yeah, I cheaped you out. I closed the eye at the last second. Haha.
But you know, you gotta fun. Like your dad's brought you this far, but you gotta be your own man, grasp your own blade, and fucking take him out in fun. Done in this very satisfying fashion, you know, fun. And then it's just like, you know, he doesn't get any last words. You're just fucking turned to ashes now. You're off into the cosmos. You're fun done with. And then fun. Oh, we're gonna catch die. It's okay. Everyone's fine. Everyone's waiting for you here, man. Yeah. And then, actually, hello, it's me. Yes, as you probably guessed, you know, from all the clues we left, it was actually me, the little tiny little imp man who's controlling Kilburn all along. Is that a puppet? Yeah. So fun. I imagine it was still like the same actor just going like, no, if we just bring my voice up high like this, no one suspect it's me doing the same voice. Yeah. The fun saying, well, I hate to be a bastard, but I'm going to be a right bastard now. And he gets killed. They fun chop him up, but it's not enough then. And it just really just like pulls the guts out of this victory because they go so far into it, and then like I went in the back of my mind, the whole thing about Kilburn, you know, it was kind of still a bit kind of hazy really there on that now. I wonder is that ever going to be? Oh yeah, oh there it is. Yeah, there it is right there. He's fucking dead now. He's going to fucking spoil the victory party for everybody. And it's fucking Dai winds up getting taken out, or at least to their knowledge anyway. And you think, oh, there was like so many fucking dudes there. You would think like, oh, like fucking type one like an Avan. No, if he's going to be like the old hero, is going to give it up one last time for let the younger ones shine through. You're talking fucking like got his fucking name already. Fun dude who keeps like almost killing himself. Handsome and serious. Uncle, yes, that's Uncle.
Oh no, Uncle's fucked. It made sense to me that Dai and Pop.
I thought maybe he would go, but like something like that.
It made sense that Dai and Pop were the guys who could get to it the quickest, because they're both like the top guys of their heroes, I think.
Yeah, just for somebody like to be the one that gets taken out, in the course of trying to save the world, and he's like the main character, yeah. But as they kind of see it and saying, well, no, the story planted in his grave, the jewel, the light, and it hasn't gone out just yet. So it's really sad. It's fucking he's gone. It's not like physically in our world anymore. It feels like, but he's alive in all our hearts, and he's still apparently alive somewhere, heaven, the underworld, the universe, or somewhere like that. So it's kind of looks first puts in it. It's like just. Again, really kind of like, putting you at a very great height of emotion, and then just like fucking slamming you fucking down all of a sudden like that. I think that's really innovative. I remember this comic began from 1991, and wherever stage this fucking ended at like then. It's just like, this is like, I can understand then, and as I've been saying all this kind of while, and it's apparently right up to the finish that, yeah, why wouldn't you try and crib some of that? Like, why couldn't you like take that whole thing? And this is showing like, just a very thing, fun. You guys keep thinking of fun and go right with this kind of thing, fun, power of friendship, fun. That's kind of fun. You have guts and got my way through. Yeah, but what if you got guts and it still doesn't fucking work for you? What if the die? It's actually just that much better than you. That doesn't matter, and you gotta come up with a different plan to get all together to fun take them out.
But I've seen so many shows and various things like do the heroes win in the end, but then there's a one last rug pull to make it a tragic ending. But this show did it differently in that it ends with the tragic ending, but ends it with like a thing of hope. They know he's still alive. So they feel like they're going to see him again someday, and they're making the world a better place while he's not there at the time. And I was just like, yeah, I kind of much more appreciated that, like, rather than just going with the, oh man, it's the downer ending. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, what I always thought was great through the whole run through is that it was addressing the doubts that the young heroes had.
Yeah.
Because who wouldn't fucking have that thing? And if you had like, they don't get over it all in one go. It's actually like a little like fun complex that they're going through. They kind of come through the long thing. It's frequently between fucking Dai and Pop. And that's why they're the kind of core of the thing. Pop's the heart of the team and Dai's the hero. But you can see how Pop's the heart of the team because these like lads have been together from the beginning of the thing. They've fun trained together. They're apprentices together. But whenever one of them is fucking really fucking down, the other dude is he's right in the right place to bring his buddy back up, and they keep going around like that. Just the whole thing was even Pop. He all the way through fun. I cannot let anybody know how insecure I'm feeling about the fucking big plan we got to break into the Demon Lord's castle, because I gotta come up on a day. I gotta fucking just keep trying to answer and I can. Because if I fucking let everybody down, I don't know how I forgive myself. I don't know how they would forgive me. They probably fucking wouldn't. And he's fucking grappling with that. And this is a dude who can erase matter with his fucking bare hands. He's got this fucking crisis of confidence like that, because like, that's well and good. But wow, but that's still not good enough, because some of these dudes are up against, and he was very good at that as well. Like the ramped up as well when they got to Vern at the end, fun becomes sexy young Vern, and he's got a plan for everything. He swats every fucking thing they have down, and it's just really leads you on. It's like fun, it's fucking. They really want to do a good job of fucking trying to just put you right in the fun pits. But then when they raise you back up again, it's so exultant and glorious. I haven't had like something do that for me, like, for a long time. Outside of like, they've kind of overdone it now. But when like they had the 1000th episode of One Piece, and it's fun saying, oh, they did the old intro, but it's like, been updated with the new designs, and they've played the fun team song was punching the shit out of someone, and fun. That's really good. But they've been kind of overdoing that But it's kind of felt like
Yeah.
that feeling, but able to kind of get that going on multiple times different ways across the way, and it's just like this fun, fantastic fucking stuff. I got up there on Saturday morning and I was like, yeah, I'm up now. Gonna put some breakfast on. Gonna phone tidy things up, and one thing, when I have breakfast, I might throw on some Dragon Quest. Oh. That's not on anymore. And it becomes such this fragment. Such this fragment. This thing I look forward to the most every week, because it was almost this consistently really good, satisfying little nugget that I would always get. And
if it didn't get the animation right, which is now and again, but it would get the emotional highs and lows exactly fucking right. Yeah.
Yeah. I've always thought as well the acting was a big component of this. I pick up on him now a lot more in other things as well. The dude who played Pop, because again he's brilliant at that, from getting that kind of that insecurity, that kind of braggart bravado as well, and then the actual genuine. No, I've fucking got this. Fucking fun. I'm fucking up against the fucking dark king. My shirt's blowing off, showing off my sexy fucking rippling muscles, even though I'm made for, and saying I'm gonna fucking, even though I'm alive for only like a millisecond in your point of view, I'm gonna fucking go for it. He had all the kind of things of that, and all the cast were really good at breaking that across, but him in particular, yeah, literally don't know what I can do without it. There's nothing really to compare.
Play Dragon Quest.
Play Dragon Quest, I suppose. Yeah. But there's nothing really to kind of compare with it, in the same kind of way. It's corny fucking cliche shonen shit. It is the fucking cliche, and it will unlock so many things for you for not just shonen jump comics. A lot of comics have been made in the last 2 decades. You can kind of understand this from saying, yeah, they've just kind of shown that not to imitate every move that they do, but to kind of the method you can kind of use by literally changing one letter around or something like that. Or literally saying, instead of right go left or fucking go upwards or fucking diagonally, you can actually really just suddenly fucking make a tired old thing seem super fresh and fucking exciting again.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the big ones from prior to that. I guess maybe Saint Seiya, does that have the same sort of teamwork of Pop and Die? Because Dragon Ball doesn't really have that. It's people getting the shit kicked out of them, and then Goku saves them.
Dragon Ball's done that in later times. I guess it kind of starts with Z, because Goku and Piccolo have to team up, basically. That's how that kind of thing opens. And then even in the end of Super, it's okay, everyone beat up on this one fucking guy.
But Goku and Krillin never feel Die and Pop do here.
No, never.
No.
Yeah.
It's much more like Luffy and Usopp. Even though I think Luffy's kind of a bit more Goku and surpassed Usopp in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But there's things like Crocodile. He's a lot like fucking Jinbei. Yes. He's this kind of weird monster uncle man. There's definitely there with fucking Hyunko. That's the Zoro that there one. He's he's literally had the Grim Reaper appear before him in recent chapters. So there's so many echoes out from this thing. Not just in One Piece but other things.
Even though it's the original text for what a lot of things kind of crib notes from this to do their thing. It does things really nicely. One of my favorite characters I didn't expect to be him, because he's I'm very serious. I'm the proud warrior. I punch things with my fist, which is very much so my thing. But then he becomes, no, make that very serious, I'm all about fighting and honor and all that shit, and make him a comedy character. It's yes, that's it. You got it. That's how you do that. You take the very serious character and you take the piss out of him all the fucking time.
Yeah, I'm looking at the things before this. I think probably the gaps in my knowledge are I've not watched enough Saint Seiya, and I've not watched enough Captain Tsubasa.
Yeah, you can read all of Saint Seiya in your Shonen Jump.
I can, yes. I should probably do that.
I've been doing that. It's I kind of went I didn't even get to get that too far into when I was watching it even. But so I kind of went fairly early on. It's kind of rough going early on. But I know if really fucking gets up to it when it starts taking on the Gold Saints, who are the real contenders to the title.
Okay.
And it's only kind of in the anime influence saying, now you fight all the Greek like things, you gotta fight all the Norse like saints and their cloths based on Fenrir and Jormungand and shit.
Yeah.
Very God of War.
So that's it for this week. Exactly the same things next week, but without Kamuy and with Time Machine.
Might make mention of the Gundams because I've been up on that. It's been it was on like a recap one there already. Just last weekend.
It's because of the golf, I
believe.
believe. I think it was due to golf.
Yeah. And not all the way up on it, but the Akiba Maid War. It may not be the best thing airing in this series. That would be like a very strict competition. But I find it often one of the most entertaining things I watch in the week.
Okay.
Well, I've not watched any more. I discussed the Eurosite Zero episodes I'd watched last week, and 10 has still not appeared. So, I won't be returning it until 10 shows up. I don't think. Yeah, and I'm assuming 10 will show up before Ryu because they're generally doing stuff in the order of the comic, just jumping here and there to introduce people in a way they find most suitable. They basically, but yes, as I said last week, Mendao is the only one where I can hear the performance and accept it as Mendao and not hear the previous voice actor in my head going and comparing the new one unfavorably. Because Mamoru Miyano definitely just goes hell for leather on being Mamoru and Shitaru Mendo rather, and yes, it's just like this. They get in the I'm afraid of the dark stuff super early as well. That's like the second story in the episode he's introduced in, is the one where they go in the caves, just so they can establish that gag because they know he can do that voice. He's going to be great doing the sudden change from suave to absolute panicked. Why would you wait? Just get that out there straight away.
Just let him in there. Let's just let him ride, man. Let's let him do his thing. He's a force of nature.
Oh yeah, I know. I did say last week I will probably check in when they do the disco one. Due to
well, for research purposes.
For research purposes, in case because that panel needs to be longer.
Oh, special extra long.
No, I did an extra. That was the last time I did it.
Long play edition.
That's what it was called. I know it was extended play. I think I called it. Yes, it would be long play. It was an hour, then it was 90 minutes as extended play. So yes, long play would be 2 hours, which would probably just about get everything I found into the panel.
If you get it long enough, you can make 2 panels out of it and make an A side and a B side.
That's true.
Yeah.
I don't intend to run that panel again anytime soon, but I am curious. I'm always curious in a disco scene in a cartoon. So
they're usually pretty good, particularly in like if anything is made, in the decade of the 80s, they're usually frequently one of the better bits you're going to get because like it's like a wild disco, which usually generally ends in a massive brawl in the bar or in a nightclub.
I mean, Yogi Galaxy Goof Ups, they made sure they went to a disco every single episode.
Step up, Urusayatsu, come on.
Yeah. What you play at? I expect it to be quite good because even when it's not in the disco, it does appear that the animators would love to draw Lum dancing at any point possible. Because quite often it could be quite a staid episode, but whenever Lum's on screen, she's getting a bit more animation than everybody else is.
Swish, swish.
Yes. I assume I await all the merchandise. I saw there was like a pop-up store full of merchandise in Japan, of course, but I assume that will be filtering through to other output shortly, and then I'll be like, do I need to buy Eurosite Zero merchandise in the year 2022? Possibly not, because it's probably all going to have Lum on it, whereas I'd probably buy it if it had Cherry on it, more than if it had Lum.
I think you're a couple of decades late there, my friend.
Yes, I think I am. I think it's all going to be Lum all the time.
The tiger print is very easy to
It
put on
is.
a pair of runners or a hat.
Yes,
Or
which is
something.
odd because eventually she won't be wearing that at all. Because I think she stops wearing it after a point, and she's just wearing human clothes.
That's
Well-
definitely the one the animators want to animate it.
Well, it'll always be there in the opening in the eye catch.
That's exactly, yes. I think what she... I think I saw... I'd have to go and check. I think it's like in the second half of the original anime, she stops wearing the tiger skin. And I think she's generally stops wearing it once she enrolls in the skull in the comic. But they haven't got to that bit. She's just hanging around the skull at the moment, being annoying and upsetting to Onsen Mark. But yeah, that's it. We'll be back next week with more of the same. Ta-ta for now.
Wait.
Later.
Let me
alligators.
stop that stream.